This radio program is PG-13. Parents strongly caution some material may be inappropriate for children under the age of 13.
The following program is sponsored by Michael W. Smith. The views expressed on the following program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership.
Phoenix, Arizona. This is Brother Mike. I'm back on the radio. Welcome to HardcoreChristianity.com. Welcome to the program. Today's Bible study, Death Becomes Them. Today on Hardcore. Hey, will you call somebody and tell them the radio program's on? We've got some interesting material here about homelessness. Kind of fascinating. Say, this is Brother Mike. I'm the professional counselor at the Arizona Deliverance Center. Been on the radio for over 20 years. Been a professional counselor for over 40 years here in Maricopa County, Arizona. On HardcoreChristianity.com, you can catch all of our ministry services. We're located downtown on 15th Avenue, just south of Osborne Road. It's a red brick building. We have a counseling center there that is free to all born-again Christians. Just call the ministry line, 602-636-5800, 636-5800, to schedule a free counseling and prayer appointment if you are a born-again Christian. Don't forget about my Sunday podcast at 9 o'clock. Just go to twitch.tv and put in HCCADC, and you're there. Please hit the PayPal button again and send us another donation. Thanks for keeping us on the air for over 20 years. Much appreciate. Send me an email, Mike at hardcorechristianity.com. I'll send you a religious exemption for the current vaccine hoax. Please remember our live services. We have 4 every week, Thursday and Friday nights, live at the Deliverance Center at 7 p.m. Arizona time. Tuesday nights at 6:30 p.m. on the Zoom. We have a ladies-only healing service. Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Arizona time, we have a healing and deliverance service for men and women. Send me an email, Mike at hardcorechristianity.com, and I'll send you the code and the password. Please remember my teaching class the 4th Saturday of every month at noon on healing and deliverance. Please remember our other services, women's seminars, children's healing service, and many more. Death. Death is the order of the day, friend. Yes, death is what the federal, state, and county and city governments have now adopted to fixing the homeless crisis in the United States. It's gotten so bad that it's not fixable. The federal government knows it. They cannot afford to fix the homeless crisis. Why is that? Because most of the people that are homeless are either drug addicts or mentally ill. Listen to this. Here's this live statistics as of 2022. Almost 600,000 people in the United States were homeless. That's 18 out of every 10,000 people. The vast majority of them, like 72% of them, were individual adults. 28% of them were families with kids, homeless. 6% veterans, 5% single youth under 25, living alone. 5% of them, 22% were chronic homeless individuals. That means that they permanently lived on the streets. No other options. White people accounted for 50% of all the homeless people in the United States. They're white. Men accounted for 68% of the homeless people in the United States. Men. White males, number 1. 40% of all these people, hundreds of thousands of them, 40% of them go to sleep every night without being in a shelter of some kind. I mean, outside, period. The vast majority of these people, believe it or not, are LGBTQ or trans. You imagine that? Transgender, gender questioning, non-binary people, gender fluid people. Most of them, they don't even have a place to sleep at night. And of course, California, New York, Florida, and Washington and Texas are the number one hotspots for homelessness. Obviously, California, number one, New York, number two, Washington, D.C., number three. Homelessness is now a major United States epidemic. This is in addition to 8 million illegal immigrants released into the United States. California, Chicago, New York, several other areas, absolutely being destroyed with illegal immigrants. And Phoenix and the zone is no exception. Let me give you a typical example, just to humanize this a bit. Take the case of Brian Rogers. He's 38 years old. He's mentally ill. His mother, he's also a drug addict. His mother finally convinced him to go into rehab. And his mother didn't know what happened to him after he went into rehab. They did not inform her of what was going on, and neither did her son, Brian Rogers. I mean, again, this guy's 38 years old. He's almost 40. At Camelback Road and 18th Street, okay, that's a very nice area, correct? Esplanade area, 18th Street and Camelback. He was sitting on a bus stop and somebody happened to notice he was dead. He passed out at a bus stop and died. They finally ID'd the guy and finally got back to his mother, who still thought he was in rehab. What did the guy have? He had a mental illness called schizoaffective disorder. Just generically speaking, without getting too technical, that's kind of a mental illness in between schizophrenia and bipolar. Okay, generally speaking, it's worse than bipolar, but not as bad as schizophrenia. And his parents loved him, particularly his mother. He was divorced. His parents were divorced. She finally got him into rehab. He left and ended up dead on a bus bench. She later found out, unbeknownst to her, that her son had been booked into jail over 60 times between 2011 and 2023. And he was a petty thief, shoplifting, minor crimes, stuff that's very common for people who are addicts or mentally ill or homeless. None of them were significant criminal activities. He'd been in jail, believe it or not, 60 times. 60 times. And the city of Phoenix and the state of Arizona has nothing to help these poor people. Nothing. But to give you an idea of what's happening, the federal government, the cities, the counties, the states, they actually now realize they cannot rehabilitate all these people and they cannot cure all these mentally ill people. There's too many of them now. So they're doing the next best thing. They're trying to kill them. They're trying to kill them. Let me give you an illustration, a big one. New York City. New York City has so many homeless and mentally ill people roaming around, it's unbelievable. They've got an illegal immigrant problem that is absolutely gasping. There isn't a bed or a room anywhere in New York City to house all these illegal immigrants. The mayor of the city said that the illegal immigration crisis is going to destroy New York City, and the guy's right. Okay, but check this out. The city of New York decided to start killing these homeless people, these addicts, and these drug addicts, and these mentally ill people. They decided to start killing them, so they started giving them out free crack pipe kits. And they started developing safe injection centers. And all this stuff was free. They actually put vending machines around the city So an addict can come up and get a crack pipe kit so he can smoke drugs or shoot up drugs. They give out free needles at these safe injection centers. Okay? The theory was that it was going to save people's lives. This is the marketing pitch they gave the citizens of New York. It was all a lie. They said, we'll give them free drugs, free drug paraphernalia, free safe injection sites. We're going to give them everything free. This will keep them from overdosing and killing themselves. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Wink, wink, wink. Well, since New York initiated this program, overdoses are up 78% since 2019. They expect over 3,000 New Yorkers to overdose in 2023. Obviously, this year isn't over yet. 3,000 of them. That's how many people died in 9/11. But what they're doing is, the same thing's happening here in Phoenix down in the zone. The city of Phoenix got a stay when they had to have the place cleaned out. They don't want to clean these places out. They don't want to spend any money on them. All they want to do is go in every day and take out the bodies. Because the problem now is so overwhelming, so shocking, so incomprehensible, that Satan has convinced them these people are not worth rehabilitating. They can't be rehabilitated. You cannot afford to provide them low-income housing. It's too expensive now. There's nothing can be done except to kill them. So what you do, you leave them, let them live in squalor. They're not vaccinated. They don't have any health care. They provide free drugs, paraphernalia, free drugs. And they're trying to get them to overdose. It's that simple. It works in New York City. They cover it up by putting the vending machines out, and they put in Narcan packets in the vending machines. Yuck, 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 wink, 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 which none of the addicts take. Those things are always there. It's all a joke. It's all a plot. It's all a plan to simply eliminate them. That's the only option they have now. And this is happening all over the country, not just New York City. All these major cities, most of them run by Democrats, have these free drug paraphernalia, free injection sites, and massive increases in homelessness and drug addicts ODing.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership. This program was sponsored by Michael W. Smith.